Well, hello there, everyone. My name is Andrew Hochradel, and this is the Daily Creative Challenge for Adobe Illustrator. And we have lost our color because today we're talking about how to do color in Illustrator. So I figured we would start here, and as we work through, maybe we will join into the beautiful world of color. If you're just joining us for the first time, the challenges are a little bit different. We are doing about a 10-minute lesson, and we will be cutting here in 15 minutes so that we can go hang out in Discord for about 10 minutes. So we'll drop the Discord link, but first, let's see if we can bring some magical color. If we can put some rainbows in chat, see if we can get some color. Magic. We're here and we are working with color in Illustrator today. So you can go to Discord right here. There we go. bit.ly/AI Discord is where we're going to go at the end of the show for us to hang out. And as always, you can join our challenges and get the source files at behance.net/challenge/illustrator. Right here we have change colors and strokes, which is what we're going to be doing today. So let's go ahead and hop into Adobe Illustrator and take a look at how we can use strokes and fills and maybe even the eyedropper tool to make some color on an image that is black and white. So right now, look at this. It is all black and white. We have some beautiful flowers, but unfortunately we don't have any color in there yet. So I'm going to show you how to select things, how to eyedropper colors in, or how to find colors using the color picker tool, using the color picker tool. So we're going to go ahead and grab our selection tool that we've used before, and we're going to hit V to grab that, and we're going to select one of these shapes. As you can see, there are a bunch of ellipses, a bunch of ovals that are happening here, and let's just select one of them. So we're going to select this one, and from there you can see that a bunch of things are showing attributes about this object. And what we want to pay attention to is over on the left is this panel right here. And this is where all of our stroke and fill exist. You can see that there are actually two there, and whichever one is in the front is the one that's active. So the one in the back right here, or the one that has a stroke on it, is the stroke. The one that is full is the fill. So we're going to click and watch what happens. The fill has come to the front, in front of the stroke here. You can also use the hotkey X, and it will switch which one you are editing. So if you look over here on the side, you can see when I hit X, it's changing that from the back to the front. So we want to edit the fill, and we're going to use the color picker tool. Just go ahead and double click on this fill panel. And from there you can see we have this dialog box that pops up. And there are a bunch of different options here, and we'll talk about color modes a little bit. So these letters stand for a bunch of different things, and I'll go through real quick so you can just note it. H stands for hue, that is kind of the color here. Saturation is how bright it is, that is left to right. And brightness is the kind of intensity that is up and down. So saturation, left to right, brightness, up and down, and hue is on this spectrum right here. Now RGB is red, green, and blue. Those are the colors that we're going to be used if we're designing for a screen. CMYK is cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, and we will use those if we are designing for print. So I want to make this flower maybe a nice little yellow color. All we have to do is click on this spectrum right here, and you can click up and down and just drag to see. And we want something yellow, and then we're going to pick something on here and just click and drag. You can see in the preview that it's showing us what that color is going to be. And so we want something a little bit yellow. I'm going to bring it down here, and we're going to hit OK. And because we have the shape selected here, and we have our fill in the color picker, we are going to hit OK. And there we go. It has now changed the color of that object to the fill that we have selected, right? Super handy. Something else that we can do, and the reason that I have these blocks down here for you, is so that we can use the eyedropper tool. Super easy way to grab colors if you have a palette that you're working with. So we're going to grab this shape again, and we're just going to hit I, or we can come over here to the eyedropper tool on the left, and I'm just going to use the hotkey I. And from there, we're going to click on one of these. So I want this beautiful orange, and you can see with that selected, it has now changed that object to orange. So we're going to grab the selection tool again, hitting V. And check this out. If we want to change the color of multiple objects, we can simply hold Shift, and then as we click, it's going to select each of those objects. Now we could transform these, we could move these, but what we want to do is grab the the eyedropper tool. and click right here to grab that orange. You can see that it's changed the color of all of those petals that we had selected. Looking good. We're going to do the same thing over here for the other petals, hitting V for the selection tool. And we're just going to grab these other petals and hit I to grab, boom, a nice little red. So that's looking good to me, but I think that we want to maybe put a stroke on the center. So maybe the center is going to go a little bit lighter, but we want a green stroke around it. So what I want to do is I'm going to select the center here, and we're going to use the eyedropper tool to make the tan color the center, but then I want to put a green stroke around it. So what we can do is with that selected, we can come over here and click on the stroke, and you can see it comes to the front, and we're going to double click, and from there we could pick a color. So if we wanted to, we could do just a white, and you can see that it has added a stroke. Now, if you can't see the stroke, you can come up to the top here and change the width of the stroke. So we're going to set this to 10 just to make it a pretty thick stroke. And you can see as you change this by hitting the up and down arrows, you can see that it's changing the thickness of that stroke. So I'm going to set it to 18. Why not? So we have a good smattering of different strokes and variations here. Now, let's use the eyedropper tool in my favorite way. And this blew my mind when I discovered it. This is your extra credit for today. And that is, let's say that we have the stroke right here. It is selected. It is on the front. Now, if we grab the eyedropper tool, what's going to happen if we just click on this green is it's actually going to just copy the attributes of that object. So the object down here that's green doesn't have a stroke on it. We want to make sure that we change the color of that stroke. So I'm going to Control Z to undo. And watch what happens when I hold Shift. So remember, you have your object selected and you're holding Shift. It is actually going to sample whatever you have selected at the front here from the object. So watch this. We're going to hit Shift and click. And now it has applied that color to either the stroke or the fill. Now again, if I want to do that same trick and change the fill of this, maybe we want the middle to be blue, I can hit X and it's going to bring our fill to the front. And then doing that same trick, we're going to hold Shift and then click. And because the fill was in front, when we hold Shift with the eyedropper tool, it's going to grab that color. Now, it's looking a little bit funky now, but let's try to reverse these because it may look better if the green is on the inside. What we can do is we've learned the hotkey is X, right, to choose whether we're editing the stroke or the fill, but we can use the power of that Shift key again to actually flip those. So when we hit Shift X right there, it's going to invert the stroke and the fill. So super quick hotkeys to work with colors very, very quickly. So this is looking pretty good, looking like a pretty good flower here. And what we're going to do now is we are going to show you how to make a palette, right? So we have all of our colors that we've created down here. We've done this using the color picker by just clicking on a shape, double clicking, and then finding our colors. And what we can do is we can use the selection tool, which is V, to click and drag over all of these objects. From there, we're going to come up here to our swatches panel. If you don't have that, we can go to Window and scroll down to Swatches and just click on that. And you can see here that I have already given you a folder so that you can work with it. But if you want to create your own palette, go for it. Grab a bunch of colors, make your own palette, and watch what we do here. With these selected, we're going to click on this folder. And it says Create New Color Group. And from there, we're going to click on that. And I'm going to do Fall Colors. We're just going to name it. And I'm going to hit OK. And from there, now we have all of our fall colors in here so that we can come in, select our objects. And with these objects selected, instead of using the eyedropper tool, we can come in here and just click on one of these swatches and it will apply to whatever that shape is that's selected. So we can do the same thing here. We're just holding Shift and selecting all these, and maybe we want a nice cool flower to be able to work with that. So we're using the swatches panel instead of the eyedropper to grab and put those in. Now, I do want to show you one more thing, and that is a great resource to be able to find new colors. So we're going to cut back here, and I'm going to pull up a page for you real quick. All right. So you can use Adobe Color to find amazing color palettes, and you don't have to do any of the work. They are generated here for you. You also can check your accessibility. You can have mathematically correct color palettes. So let's start here and let's pick our key color. Now we want a kind of fall theme, so I'm going to change it to this kind of orange right here. And you can see this is our base color by having the little arrow right there. Now, let's explore some different things by seeing complementary. So, okay, this is looking a little cool to me. Maybe split complementary, still a little cool. And let's do a triad. Ooh, that's looking real funky. Now, if we want to, I could actually go into monochromatic and keep everything in that fall theme. If I know I want those oranges, that fall goodness, doing monochromatic is going to give me a great color palette that is mathematically correct on the color wheel, which is really fun. Now, something else that you can do is you can actually go to Explore. And Explore is an amazing resource to be able to find great palettes. Let's go in here and just type in fall because that's what we want. And from here, it's going to leverage a bunch of palettes that have been created by users that are fall colors. So we're going to click right here and we are going to hit Add to Library. And watch what happens. When I click Add to Library, it is going to sync through the Creative Cloud, and it says here, theme successfully added to DCC colors. And I can come back into Illustrator and watch what happens. I'm going to go to Window and then open my libraries. And once that syncs, once it loads in, that library is going to be in here, DCC colors. And from there, we have our fall Maple Hills. We can just right click and hit Add Theme to Swatches and check that out. Now we have all of our colors and swatches, and we can come in and edit our flower. So maybe we want to do a dark red here and then put a stroke on all of those. We can select our stroke, and then we are going to bring up our swatches again and just put maybe a nice orange stroke on there and change that stroke to about 18. So there we go. We've got some nice stroke on there, and let's go ahead and grab one more set from our new palette. Let's do this one with hotkeys. So we're going to do hotkeys here, and we are going to grab the fill and make that yellow. Then we're going to hit X, and again, that is going to make it so that it flips over to the stroke, and we're going to add that red stroke and change it to 18. Now it's looking a little bit crazy, so let's sample some of these other colors, again, using the trick of the eyedropper tool. So we can click on all of these, and if you want to, here's a little trick, we can select one of the objects and go to Select, Same, and because we're working with fill and stroke, anything that has the same fill and stroke, it will select those. So again, select, same, fill and stroke, and it will select everything that has those settings. And then we can use that eyedropper tool hack to grab the eyedropper tool, and maybe we want the stroke to be green, and then we hit X to select the fill, and maybe we want that fill to be a nice tan. That's looking pretty good. So from there, we can maybe switch them, hitting Shift X with those hotkeys, and it's very easy to leverage the power of Adobe Illustrator swatches, strokes, and fills to be able to create awesome designs. So what I want you to do is to create some flowers, create some swatches, use your strokes and fills to make these beautiful, colorful flowers, and then export them and add them into our Discord. So you can go to the Discord right here, bit.ly/AI Discord, and that's where I want to see your designs. Now, we're also going to hop over to that Discord right now. So click on this, and we're going to do a live Q&A where we're going to talk about questions you might have about this specific lesson, as well as any other questions that you might have about past lessons, about career advice, about projects that you're working on. Let's go hang out in Discord, build some community, and join us right there. We'll be back tomorrow for another daily creative challenge right here on Adobe Live, and we'll be hopping into Illustrator a little more complex. It'll be a fun one tomorrow, so come back every day, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll see you in Discord.